דוקטור איך לטפל בתוצאות לוואי של תאונת דרכים שהייתה לפני כמה חודשים, שדפקה לי את הצבא.
You come here, so come here.
אוקיי.
יהיה מול המצלמה בבקשה.
נהיה במצלמה, בסדר? אני אשב, תראו. אוקיי? הרעיון היה כזה, הוא נתן...
תיכנס טיפה, אני רואה תיכנס טיפה, תתקרב יותר. אני רואה פשוט איך אתה חתוך.
בסדר?
עוד טיפה.
עוד יותר טוב?
זהו, ככה.
עכשיו, הוא הציע כמה דברים לעשות, אבל הכל מבוסס למעשה על מה שלמדנו אתמול והיום בבוקר, כן? להיכנס לתוך הגוף, תוך כדי תנוחה של הטיה, מתיחה.
אתה בורח מהפעמים.
תזיז את הכיסא, לא אותי. מתיחה, צד אחד, מתיחה צד שני, תוך כדי נשימה, זאת אומרת, לעשות 10 נשימות בערך זמן של דקה, לעבור מצד לצד, לחזור על זה כמה פעמים. מצב שני, ללכת ולשחרר את הראש אחורה, כשלמעשה עובד רק הצוואר, בלי שרירי הגב העליונים, זאת אומרת, לנסות להתרכז ולנשום, זה לא פשוט, גם לא פשוט לי. והדבר השני, הדבר השלישי, ללכת רק עם הראש הצידה, אוקיי? שני הצדדים, דקה, 10 נשימות, חוזר חליל לצד שני כמה פעמים, ואני לפחות הרגשתי אחרי שעשיתי את זה לידו, ישבנו 5 דקות בערך, אחרי שעשיתי את זה לידו, הרגשתי שהשתחרר לי פחות או יותר הצוואר. זאת אומרת, יש תנועה בכיוון חיובי. אז מומלץ לנסות, עוד פעם, בפעם אחת או ב5 דקות, העולם לא משתנה, אבל...
התחלתם איזה רבע שעה.
מה?
תנועה עם נשימה.
ודאי.
אתה תופס את הפוז.
כשאני הולך לצד הזה, כשאני הולך לצד, אני נושם תוך כדי. הנשימה, אתה סופר נשימות, אתה צריך לספור נשימות. ועם הזמן אתה רואה מה יותר נוח לך, מה יותר טוב לך. וזה למעשה השיעור שעשינו אותו אתמול. לעשות תנוחה תוך כדי נשימה, והתנוחות האלה, המטרה שלהם לשקר את הצוואר. ובכלל את עמוד השדרה. יש עוד דבר נוסף, בשביל להרגיש, או בשביל לבסס תחושה של עמוד שדרה ישר מלמטה עד למעלה, להחזיק יד מעל הראש ולהרגיש תוך כדי נשימה איך עמוד השדרה מגיב לנשימה. עכשיו זה הדבר הכי קשה לדעתי. זה קצת היה לי קשה להבחין בזה. תודה.
תודה לך.
So we just practice this cleaning of the inside of the nasal passages with the help of water and the catheter. So in yoga there is this concept of working with various spaces or cavities. Usually we work with the outside space through the senses. But in yoga we want to recognize and start experiencing the internal space, mainly inside the area of the trunk, which is called as the internal space in yogic language, Antar Akash, as against or to differentiate it from the external space, Bahya Akash. Now from here we want to start experiencing the skull cavity or the space inside the head. Again, if you will open the book of medical anatomy, there is always, you will find the word cranial cavity. That means there is a cavity inside the cranium, the bone. But then we never experience this space. And we say, oh, but it is filled with brain. How you say there is a cavity? Yes, there is not really real space, it is a potential space because it is filled with brain. But when you start getting knowledge, then at the level of the knowledge you start experiencing or recognizing this skull cavity or space. So we will be now trying to find out, can we easily go and experience this skull cavity, skull space? In yogic language, it is called the space of the consciousness, Chidakash. Chitta, consciousness, Akash, the space. Like we say, the old home, the children's home. So it is, the home is home, but it is being used by different people. So if it is being used by the old people, then we say old home. If it is being used by the children, children's home. If it are used by the business people, business house. But the house is house and the space is space. So this is the space which is generally used by consciousness. So all this process of awareness, and when you then try to put that question, who is breathing? So you have to go into this area to find the answer, who is breathing, who is hearing, who is seeing. Once you start asking such questions to yourself. So we try to take the use of this flow of breath. So we start from the upper lip, nasal openings, passages. But now, can you get guided by this movement of breath inside your skull cavity? So we will be using the area of the smell. So when you want to smell anything, you direct the breath in an upward direction. So you become aware of this movement of air on the nasal openings and start directing that flow of breath inside the head. Now the physical air will not be going into the skull. If the physical air goes, it becomes medical emergency. But this breath in yogic language, which is the sensation arising because of this, through the touch modality, through the touch sensation, with that we can get guided inside the skull cavity. So find out, are you able to get guided by this flow of breath, and how far you are able to get guided inside the skull cavity? Can you recognize its pathway, its destination? In the beginning, there may be a problem, and therefore we close one nostril. So in one nostril, there is only the breath is moving. In another nostril, it is not moving. And therefore we can immediately start having a comparative knowledge of these two channels. And then you will find that through the open nostrils, the breath is moving in and out, and it is able to start guiding you inside the skull cavity. And you will find that there is a kind of stimulation on one side of the brain or one side of the head. You feel something stimulating or going and feeling one side. The other side is relatively inactive. But the side where the nostril is open, that side there is some activities going on inside the head. Are you able to differentiate? If you ask that question, because I don't want to hypnotize you, I don't want to give you any hypnotic suggestion, But if you just give the practice and work in the Indian tradition, it may take years to become aware of, oh yes, there is this difference. Because generally we will be looking, you close and start getting knowledge from outside. So we have to first make that change. When you do, you also bring the mind, withdraw it, put it inside the nasal passage, start getting guided, follow that sensation. Everyone could feel it. That if you can get guided inside the skull cavity, and then you know on one side there is some activity going on in comparison to the other side of the brain. So that we show, oh, only half of that space is working, active, other half is relatively passive, inactive. Now we change the nostril. Again become aware of this flow of breath. So it will be more in the open nostril, no such flow being perceived in the closed nostril. We start getting guided up inside the head. Are you able to recognize that it guides you only again in one side of the head? Possible? Now again those who are having medical knowledge, again a conflict comes, irritation comes, anger comes, because the medical texts say that the right side is represented on the left side and the left side is represented on the right side. So there is a crossing over. But when you work in a yogic class and when you start breathing through the one nostril, you are guided direct on the same side. You don't cross. And then the anger comes, the irritation comes. And some people say, I am getting guided in the opposite side because of that textual knowledge. But if you allow that thing to go out, okay, that is what medical word says. But when you practice on yogic lines, you are getting guided on the same side. Possible?
It's also in the Chinese medicine. It's side by side. You close right side,
Yes.
you feel it the left side because that's the side you breathe through.
Yes. Because these are functional medicines. They are based on more on the dissection of the dead body. This is working with the conscious person. Now we want to work on some yogic lines. Yesterday we went right up to the forehead. Today we want to go ahead. We want to experience that it is this area of the forehead which belongs to the skull cavity, above the eyebrows, no senses in this area. So there are no telereception cannot take place above this level. Whatever we can feel the world around you is below the level. So this is, but we are trying to work above this level. So we keep our mind in the area of the forehead from inside, and we want to ventilate this area with the help of our breathing. So we start breathing out and in using the lower abdominal muscles. But we are not now concerned with what is happening in the pelvic region. Now we are with the forehead area. This space, the area of this forehead is getting ventilated. That is, it is getting emptied and filled. And as you continue to breathe in this way, you will be able to perceive some light at the level of the forehead, and you are putting your breath on that light. And because of your breathing on that light, find out what is happening to this light. So first, are you able to perceive light at the level of the forehead? Not in front of the eyes, but at the level of the forehead. And then your ability to breathe on that light. And then to find out what is happening to that light because of your breathing on that light. Can you feel anything? Because the books say, oh, we are just washing away carbon dioxide, but we cannot experience whether the carbon dioxide is really getting washed or not. But we can definitely find out what is happening to this light over which we are breathing. Can you find out? Is anything happening to that light because of our breathing? Are you able to perceive light? Are you able to perceive some light at the forehead?
We're breathing here, but not light.
You don't perceive any light. Just close the eyes and then put one hand in front of one eye only. Just close the eye. Do you feel any difference between the right, in front of the right eye and left eye?
Yes.
So what is the difference?
The light.
So you are able to perceive light with closed eyes.
Now I understand.
So now, slowly, can you then experience you are blowing on that light? And because of your blowing on the eye, what is happening to that light?
Changing.
Yes, in what way? In what direction it changes?
This whole. I don't know exactly.
Does it become more brighter and transparent?
It becomes more dark.
It becomes more dark. Just try to relax yourself and try to breathe in a very relaxed way.
No, okay. Not from the
No.
abdomen, from here.
From, yes, lower abdomen. But remain more relaxed, don't get tense. Is there any change now?
There is changing. I cannot say that it becomes like you
Is
say,
it becoming more
transparent.
brighter and transparent, or it is becoming darker and opaque?
It just changes the shapes. I feel not goes there or there. Just
No, but
change.
what about the intensity, the character of the light?
I feel that it's more dark.
It is becoming more dark. Because do you think you are getting more tense, you are able to experience more muscular tensions around the eyes or in the spine?
Yes.
Therefore I said try to relax. What about others?
Became lighter.
Huh?
For me, it became lighter.
Yes, so what happens to the character of the light?
Became more toward the white, lighter.
Okay, but is it becoming brighter and more transparent?
True.
Because it is, instead of ground glass, is it becoming a plain glass, more see-through?
No, it just became more white.
More white, okay. It is not becoming transparent.
No.
Okay. What about you, your new friends? Are you able to experience that you are breathing on the light? And because of your breathing on the light, what is happening?
I see more like as if you put oil in water, then I see like bright oil expanding.
Okay. Okay. What about you in the back? Are you able to perceive light with closed eyes? Are you able to then experience you are exhaling on that light? And because of your exhalation on the light, what is happening?
Actually, it's expanding
It is expanding.
and becoming less purple and more white.
Okay, all right. Because in olden times, when people were using more firewood for heating, and in order to increase the fire, we were used to blow on that fire. There used to be, every house used to have a fireplace, and in the fireplace there used to be a blower. So we used to just take it and put that air on that fire, and with that we used to kindle the fire. The fire used to become more, and then when you are burning the fire, it was becoming more brighter. It was start to give more heat, light, and that after that, then we just used to get the warmth and light from that light. But today, when you are burning candles, again we use our breath to extinguish the candle. Instead of kindling the fire, we extinguish it. So there are two possibilities. Either you can make that light dark, make it to extinguish and give rise to darkness, or you can kindle it, stimulate it, and make it more bright, more transparent. So if you are able to make that light more bright and transparent with the help of your breathing, in yogic language, you are practicing Kapala Bhati. Kapala, forehead. No, forehead. Only this area. This is Kapala. And Bhati Bha means this bright light. Generally, I was trying to see here, but when we experience the sunset or sunrise, so just before sunset or after sunset, you experience a kind of golden, yellow or orange color glow in the sky. That particular glow is called bha, where you don't see the source of light, but like around the flame, there is the actual flame of the candle, but around the candle there is this glow. That is the bha. So when you start seeing such a bright glow without the source, because that source is the flame, it is the actual fire. But around the fire there is the glow. It is light. And it is bright light, generally golden, yellow or orange color. So when you start seeing such a light at the level of the forehead, developing because of your own breathing, it becomes then Kapalbhati. And then you remain in the awareness of that infinite, bright, transparent light. Transparent. Like it is white light, but it is opaque. You cannot see through this white light. But if you start seeing through this bright light, you will go to infinity. If this is opaque, your vision gets restricted. There is a boundary. You cannot call it infinity, infinite. It is limited. So the consciousness also gets limited. But when it will become transparent, it will become a kind of infinite light without any images. It will just be light. So there is this concept in yoga that we all get guided by different names and forms. The moment a newborn baby is born, we give it a name. Otherwise, the consciousness remains pure consciousness, formless and nameless. So, with the help of yoga practices, we want to experience such a formless and nameless state. But most of our education since childhood is full of names and forms. And therefore we always want to know the name. First get the form and then we want to know the name. But in Kabbalah also we say the highest is formless and nameless. In yoga also we say we are starting from names and forms, but we want to reach the state of the nameless and the formless. And this is the practice which can be helpful to go into that state of formless and nameless, provided you are able to experience it. Experiencing first the light with closed eyes, and then with the help of your own breathing to help it to become bright, transparent, and then it becomes automatically infinite, and we remain in that awareness for some time. So this is one of the yogic practices based on these three components of getting the knowledge about our own breathing and the movement of breath inside the body. And then with the help of this breath, the knowledge about the breath, what could be achieved. With this understanding, would you like to practice once again your Kapalbhati? Because this is one of the important practice. It is called as cleansing process in yogic language. And then it forms the basis of the Bhasrika Kumbhak. Everyone practice Bhasrika Pranayam in different way. And just I am trying to share my whatever little I try to understand from this practice. So we first try to perceive this light with closed eyes.